J.R.R. Tolkien once said, "All who wander are not lost." And I want to share with you how making some really different choices and taking some risks when I was younger has really created a much richer life with richer career choices, relationships, and memories than I may have had if I had taken a more traditional path. So things become platitudes or common sayings, often because they're true. Henry David Thoreau said, "If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away." When I was 18, most of my friends were going off to college. I was already an activist, a social activist, and I made some very different choices from what most of my companions in Rochester, Michigan were making. I joined a collective group out west, and I spent my time as an activist, an environmental activist, an anti-nuclear activist, and I did peace marches all around the world. I walked over 10,000 miles on peace marches, once across the entire United States, and once across Ukraine, actually, which at the time was part of the Soviet Union. All of these around anti-nuclear issues. I also spent many years working with the Western Shoshone at the Nevada nuclear test site. All of these things were done in a volunteer capacity or even working to organize these things. And you can imagine the skills it might take to get 250 people safely walking from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco. There's food to think about. There's all sorts of structural issues to address. Where are people going to sleep? How are people going to go to the bathroom? All of these things go into it, and I was able to build skills that later became skills that were important to places where I applied for jobs. On a blog post at Northeastern University's website, Lindsay Nurl points out that while 65% of jobs require post-secondary education, managers still consider internships, employment during college, and voluntary experience more important than GPA or relevant coursework when evaluating a candidate's readiness for a job. You can take non-traditional choices and turn them into an asset for careers by making sure that you contribute or learn things while you are doing those adventures. Also, the idea of waiting for retirement to do all the fun things, to me, is really objectionable. When I was younger, obviously, I was far more flexible. Sleeping in youth hostels, making my way around the country either with rides or in foreign countries using Eurail passes. All of those things are a lot easier to do when you're younger and just a little bit less settled and frankly just more physically able. A lot of people put off all of those adventures to the end of their life. Market Watch has an article where Kai Ryssdal says, "If there were do-overs in life, I'd probably have taken time away from work in my early 50s to do some of the things I planned to do once I was fully retired. Instead, I waited until I quit work to do those things, and that might have been the wrong decision." There are so many more things that you can do when you're young and you have fewer expectations. And realistically, I think that traveling and exploring new places gives you a chance to see, taste, and hear and understand new things that really adds to your perspective your whole life long. Your ability to relate to new people, your ability to take in new situations and find a way to communicate with people, meet your needs, get things that you want when you may not always be seeing things from the same perspective, and just understanding that while there are many regional differences in the United States, there's cultural and ethnic differences all around the world, but realistically, most places you travel to, you're going to meet people who have a lot of the same needs, wants, and desires that you do. And being able to find those common threads really contributes to making you much more of a global citizen. And in this day and age, I really feel like that makes you a happier and healthier person with a much better outlook on the world and your role in it. Traveling the world isn't just fun. There's all sorts of research that also suggests it's highly beneficial for your physical, mental, and emotional health. That's from an article from NBC News. It says 5 scientifically proven health benefits traveling abroad. In America in particular, travel is not quite as popular as it is over in Europe, and I think that's a shame. Because in this country alone, and let me tell you, as someone who has walked the entire length of it, there are so many different cultures within our own country. If you're spending time in upstate New York and you travel to Alabama, and from there you go to the Grand Canyon in Arizona, and from there to the mountains of Idaho, you're going to see some really different cultures. You're going to see some different regions, looks like totally different places. And it's a much better way just to become a citizen of your own country and a citizen of the world, understanding both the differences and all the commonalities that we share. And probably the most important thing is making choices that suit yourself, that aren't necessarily traditional or necessarily what everybody else would choose. This is a way to build confidence in a way that I don't think you can build in any other way. Being able to travel, navigate the world, meet people, make new friends, see new things, these are all ways to give yourself a confidence that you just can't get in another way. It's a gift of experience as opposed to a gift of a thing. And it's a gift that you can give yourself. So I really feel that it's important, especially when you're younger, not to get boxed into making traditional choices just because your parents did it, or your friends did it, or somebody you worked with did it. It's really important to take the time and possibly take big risks, but make choices that are suitable for you. Something that's going to feed your soul, something that's going to make your confidence soar and really give you the adventure of a lifetime that you will be able to enjoy really for the rest of your life.